that is just something you need to be aware of. Not everyone is woke. Not everyone is gonna know that they can't say the N-word, because people definitely did on the tour, and I definitely slapped someone for saying it. What's up, you guys? It's Sheridan here, back with another video, and this is a know before you go Egypt edition. First thing is, the first day is always rough. Personally for me, I traveled with a group. It's with Contiki. I've done a couple different tour groups, Contiki or G Adventures. Personally chose Contiki because I wanted to travel with people who were of my age group. The first day I got there, I was on my own and I didn't meet like my roomie or the other people who were on the tour yet. So not gonna lie, it was a little tough. Was very anxious that day. Had a whole thing where I almost missed my flight. Lost my phone in the airport. Quick alert, I've already managed to throw up and just feeling anxious. Also because I literally had everyone telling me don't go to Egypt. My parents were telling me that something's gonna happen to me. People were all just like, are you sure you want to go? How are you feeling? Are you feeling anxious? Share your location. All this kind of negative energy was put upon me on this first day of traveling. So when I got there, and especially because I was on my own for the first day, it was a little rocky, not gonna lie. I was very nervous, did not leave my room, stayed in the hotel, did not eat at all that day. And honestly, that's completely normal. I feel like, especially when you're traveling on your own, for me, it was still something new where I was traveling solo, still getting used to that feeling. It was a very anxious experience for me, and that shouldn't draw you away from experiencing new things and new opportunities. It is completely normal to feel anxious and uncomfortable in certain situations, but you should still take the chance and do it, obviously using wisdom. I ended up meeting my roommate that night and things turned out to be great and the trip was amazing, but it's okay if on the first day things are a little rough. I feel like first days of trips are always rough because you're getting your bearings down. So just know it might be a little scary the first day, but it will get better. Next thing to be aware of is the food sickness. Y'all, this is a big one. I'm not even gonna lie. People on my tour group got so sick. I thankfully was okay for like most of it. The last day was like the one day that I actually got sick, but you just have to be so careful when you're eating the food there. Number one, the water is not safe for you to drink when you're there. There were people who got into the Nile River and swam into the Nile River, and I don't know if that maybe was the reason why they got sick as well. Or it could have been a bug that was just going around. They have the Contiki cold where, you know, people are just going to get sick. When it's a lot of people around each other all the time, you're gonna get sick or someone's gonna catch something from someone. It's bound to happen. But people were literally like throwing up at like temples, like running out to find the restroom to throw up. Like it was just that bad. There was a guy who was like sick from day one, like literally had diarrhea, was throwing up. It was like insane. Felt terribly bad. So it's something that you just have to be super cautious and aware of. Bring medication, bring Pepto, whatever you feel like might help you, especially if you do have like a more sensitive stomach. I thankfully don't really have a sensitive stomach, so I feel like that's a reason why I probably didn't get as sick as others. I'm also very used to spices and different things like that. And I will say too, which sucks, is I felt like I did not get the best Egypt food experience. Like you go to Egypt and you think of all this amazing food, and I personally felt like I did not get that experience because I was traveling in a tour group. they wanted to be more cautious and aware that we are tourists. So we were staying in a lot of hotels and a lot of resorts, and we were eating the hotel and resort food. And to be honest, you guys, the food was trash. Like, I was just not a fan of the food. It was buffet style. It just was not up to par, or was not what I was expecting. I was expecting for it to be a very local, home cooked feel, and it just did not feel like that. Just being 100% transparent and honest with you guys. And I honestly feel like the resort food is what made people sick. I got sick from eating at the resort, and I honestly felt it coming. As soon as I ate it, I was like, okay, this is not good. This is not sitting well in my stomach. And yeah, so we ended up going to this village where we were with like the locals and eating the local foods, and had fresh feta cheese and molasses and Egyptian bread and Moroccan tea, and it was purely made from their supplies. And our tour guide was stressing, you know, be careful, this is cheese, this is coming from their animals, their water, and did not get sick from it at all. And I don't think anyone who ate the food from there got sick from it either. And honestly, I ate as much feta as I could because it was literally amazing. That was like the one experience where I felt like I was getting a glimpse and a taste of real Egyptian food and culture. And I don't think it made us sick. So something to be mindful of. You do want to be cautious and aware of where your food source is coming from, because like I said, the water is not safe to drink there. But you also want to embrace the culture as well. And I just felt like eating resorts and hotels, it was just not it. Like, it did not provide that real Egyptian food that I was hoping for when I went there. Bathrooms. Bring your own toilet paper. That is rule number one. Bring your own toilet paper anywhere you go. You're gonna be staying in hotels or wherever you might be staying, they're gonna have toilet paper. Just bring a roll with you, or enough that you know yourself. You know how much toilet paper you use. Bring enough with you, because number one, there might not be toilet paper at all in the bathrooms, or number two, you will have to pay for toilet paper, and prices are just kind of up in the air in Egypt. There's never just one set price for anything. Everything is up for negotiation. If there's like a bathroom clerk who's there who's handing you the toilet paper, you're gonna have to tip them, and it's just a weird, stressful situation, and it's just easier if you just bring your own. Number two, a part of the bathroom situation, this is for women specifically, and this might be TMI, but I literally started my period on the first day of the trip. Like, leaving to get on the plane, started my period. And there are no tampons in Egypt. And thankfully I packed a bunch because I started before, packed it, was good to go. But there was a girl on the trip who started during the period, or during the trip, she started her period. And we went to a convenience store, asked for tampons, and like the ladies who were working there literally like were freaking out. They were like, no, we don't have tampons. They were like whispering, and they were like, oh, like come with us, we'll show you what you can get. They took us to like this back corner, like opened this drawer and had like pads there, and they were literally like whispering like, this is all we have, which honestly sucks because your period is a natural process and cycle that all women go through. So why is it some taboo secret? Bring your own tampons, bring your own pads, bring your own toilet paper, bring wipes, bring whatever you need, because in those situations it is just not the best. And trust me, it is just the worst whenever you are just out and about and you just don't feel comfortable using the restroom. Another thing to note too is we did an overnight train from Aswan, and though they did have toilet papers, the bathroom situations in those trains are not good, like at all. So I would suggest when you get there, make sure you use the restroom beforehand, early on, before the night goes on, because I promise you the next day when you wake up to use the restrooms, you're not going to want to use the restrooms because it's just going to be disgusting and a mess. I'm sure you can imagine why. It's literally like a hole in the floor that just kind of like opens up and things just kind of like spill out there, but then it gets to a point where things just don't spill out and they just kind of like I'm sure you can imagine where I'm going. Just use it beforehand and then hold it to the best of your abilities afterwards. Traveled with Contiki Tours, would 100% recommend it. Our tour guide Sharif was absolutely amazing, so knowledgeable of the country. I think he is literally the only tour guide that does it for Contiki. So if you book with Egypt Contiki, you will be getting Sharif, and I totally recommend. He was amazing. The tour was amazing. I feel like I got a full experience of the country. Like we literally started from the tippy top and went to the bottom and then back up to the top. So I do feel like I got the full country experience. Definitely will go back because obviously there's so much more of the country to see. But I will say, because we saw the full country and it was a 9-day, kind of 8-day tour, I felt like it was very jam-packed. So much was happening in one day. We were seeing so many temples, so much history was being out. You know, you go to Egypt, you think of the Great Pyramids, but there's so much more to see, you guys. And our days would be so long and so exhausting. By the end of the tour, all of us would just be like, just completely drained out. I remember we were going to see the Valley of the Kings. I did not even see all the temples that I was allowed to see because I was just so dead. Literally had to stop, get a coffee. I was like falling asleep while Sharif was like giving us history lessons, which I felt bad. Like that's incredibly rude, but like there was just so much happening and you're just exhausted by the end of the day. So that is one thing I will say. It is fully jam-packed, full itinerary. So maybe don't do as many add-ons. You can definitely choose not to do that. But you go, you want to experience the culture, you want to go for the history and to learn things. So this is just a fair warning. You will be exhausted, you will be tired. But is it worth it? 100% yes. Tipping. So tipping is really tricky. It's something that I was extremely anxious about going into it. And it's something that honestly, I still have no clue about, but I'm gonna give the most knowledge that I possibly can. A benefit of going with a tour group is that you get a tour guide and they are aware of all the prices that you should be paying on said tour and all the markets and everything like that. So we literally had someone in our ear telling us, okay, this is how much this should cost. This is how much this should cost. You shouldn't pay over this much. If it's this much, it's a scam. You know, don't get me wrong. Egypt is based on tourism and that culture, and these people are about the hustle life, and trust me, I'm about the hustle life too. So kudos to them. They do what they need to do, but it can just be extremely aggressive and honestly really annoying. There were times where I wanted to go into market and I wanted to buy something, but because people were just bothering me, calling me, showing me things, constantly talking to me, constantly offering me prices, constantly this and that, it honestly was like a turn off. And I'm just like, you know what, I don't even want to go into your store. I don't want to look at what you have. I don't want to buy what you have. And it sucks because I wanted to shop. I genuinely wanted to spend money and buy things, but because they were so aggressive about it, I did not want to even step foot in their store and to see what they have. So always negotiate your price. I would say on average you shouldn't be paying more than 100 Egyptian dollars on anything. 100 to 150 Egyptian dollars. I was able to negotiate and get some like alabaster jars. Let me show you actually. So for example, this is an alabaster jar. There will be tons and tons of these around Egypt. Alabaster is a very common material that they use to make like statues and sculptures in a lot of the temples and things like that. I was able to purchase this, and I got another one that was very similar to this. I don't have it because it was a gift for someone. I was able to purchase this and another one for 150 Egyptian pounds. I think that is equivalent to what, like $15? Let me see. Oh wow, it's literally only like $8. So yeah, I would say that is the average cost for most of everything, if not probably cheaper. You should not be paying more than that for souvenirs. They are going to jack up the price. Again, I get it, the hustle is real. They are trying to make a living, but for little souvenirs like this that don't cost much, like, you should not be paying that much. Literally $8 for 2 of these. So keep that general amount in mind. As far as tipping, I would say, for example, we did a camel ride and I tipped the dude like 20 Egyptian pounds. Was he happy about it? No. He found out that I was American. He was like, I want American money. But listen, you take what you can get or you don't get anything at all. They have a mission. They want to know where you're from. They want to know what money currency that your home country is. A lot of them were like, oh, you're American, you have green money, I want you to pay me in green money. So they'll start off with, oh, $10 US, $5 US, that's it, not much. Which is not much in your currency, it could be a lot in theirs. And honestly, if you want to give them that amount, go for it, you know. It's always sad because, like, when we go to these smoke countries, like, oh, these scammers, they're trying to scam us, when like, you're not going to negotiate for like a Gucci bag. Like, why are you negotiating on their prices either? Anyway, I know it's a very controversial thing, but something to be aware of. My issue was so much them haggling and bothering you while you shop. I want to buy something, I will purchase something, but just leave me alone. like give me some peace while I'm shopping is the issue and the annoying part about it. And last thing to know before you go is safety. I'm sure that is the question that everyone wants to know, is how safe is Egypt? Did I feel safe in Egypt as a woman, as a tourist? And the answer is yes. I felt 100% completely safe. Obviously, other than the first day, you're anxious. You're gonna feel anxious, you know. Egypt has such a weird, it has a weird reputation because the media depicts it as a country that is unsafe. You go on the embassy website for the US and it's rated like level 4, the worst that it could possibly be rated. Red, do not travel, terrorist threats, all this shit. And it honestly, like, that is just simply just not true. Obviously, I'm sure there are dangerous places. There are dangerous places anywhere you go. There are dangerous places literally outside, you know, my door on my front porch step. But obviously, as long as you're using wisdom and being cautious and observing your surrounding, you will be fine. I, of course, recommend going with a tour group. With our tour group, we literally had an armed guard with us the entire time. And I mean like armed, like strapped, like 3 guns on him at once. Like, insane. Was all that necessary? I don't think so. But even then, the people were so nice. I never once felt threatened or I was scared for my life. And like, we were driving like hours across the country and completely fine. People were super nice. The only thing that's annoying is that they can be a little bit aggressive when trying to sell you things, but never had an issue with safety. Again, it's a different story for me. I was traveling within a controlled tour group. But if you're traveling by yourself solo, my roommate was literally this tiny Australian white woman who literally was traveling around Egypt on her own for like the first couple of days, and she was completely fine. She obviously made it back, and she said she didn't really feel threatened either. So just be cautious. Would I do what she did? Absolutely not. But that just goes to show that you will most likely be okay. Something to think about too is Egypt is a country that is based solely on tourism. They want people to come and visit. They want people to see their country. So of course they are going to make you feel as welcome as possible. With Contiki, they literally had someone walk us through the entire process. From the minute you landed to the airport to the minute you got back to the airport, they basically like put you on the plane. Like, you had someone with you the entire time. So that is one thing that I would say is great about Contiki. I don't know if other tour groups do that. Specifically with Contiki, where I booked, they did this for me, and it was just an absolutely incredible process. Everyone was so kind, great conversations, and it was a great experience. So of course they're going to make sure that you're okay, because they want other people to visit. They want people to make videos to tell you it was a great experience and to come and visit their country. There are security checkpoints that happen throughout the country because, again, they want to keep you Americans, Europeans safe. It's unfortunate that it might not be the case for their own people, but if you are traveling to this country, they want you to feel as welcome. What's up, you guys? I'm back because there's like a weird glare in my glasses. There was one more thing that I wanted to mention, and I don't know why I didn't mention this in the other ones before. This should have been number one. But traveling to Egypt as a Black woman, did I feel safe? Did I feel comfortable? On the tour group that I was on, I would say there was like 29 of us, and out of those 29, there were 2 Black people on the tour, and it was me and one other chick who was there, who were American. We were the 2 Black people on the tour. There were another person of color. He was Indian, but other than that, they were all white, Australian, British, South African people on the tour. Did I feel comfortable traveling as a Black woman to Egypt? 100% yes. The Egyptian people were absolutely amazing. They were hilarious. When they saw me and the other girl, they would immediately be like, "Oh, Nubian." So they either be like Nubian, or they would call us like Serena Williams or Mocha, or they would just compliment us on our skin. They were so sweet about it. Never had any issues with the Egyptian people going around. If anything, they were so welcoming, and they wanted to talk to us because of our skin color and compliment us. So that was just a really nice, refreshing thing about traveling to Egypt. One thing I will say is traveling on a tour group. Of course, when you are traveling with all walks of life and with people of different heritage in different regions, like, it is going to be different, you know, like people who are not from America and people who are honestly from America still. There was a guy who was from America saying all the wrong things, okay? Anyway, that is just something you need to be aware of. Not everyone is woke. Not everyone is gonna know that they can't say the N-word, because people definitely did on the tour, and I definitely slapped someone for saying it. So that's just something you have to keep in mind. It's unfortunate, it's annoying, and it's also a downfall for booking with a tour, because it's not like you can just like walk away from them and not be bothered with them for the rest of your trip. You're on a trip with these people for the next 9 days. You are literally stuck with them. So if awkward situations happen, as far as with someone being out of line with racial slurs or anything making you feel uncomfortable because of the color of your skin, it sucks, and it's something that you have to deal with at the moment, and it's gonna be awkward. You're gonna feel uncomfortable in those situations. So that is what I would say as far as me being a person of color on these tours. It wasn't the country, it was the people that I was traveling with in the travel group of people who were just not woke and just did not understand how to interact with people of color, specifically Americans, Black African Americans. So those are the tips that I have. If you guys have any questions below, let me know. Might make a part 2 of this video because there's just so much to know about Egypt and traveling there. But that's all I have for this one. Comment if it was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.